Hey folks. That wasn't very many highs. Wait a sec. I want to bring the energy. We're almost at the end of the keynote, so let's try some energy. When I say hi, you say hi, Steve. Hi.
Hi, Steve.
Thank God. All right, because there's a couple of crowd participatory bits to this, and so if you don't participate, the demo is going to go even more off the rails. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm Steve Angelakis. I'm based in Seattle. Don't be fooled by the Australian accent. I'm a solutions architect, and what that means is I work with some of the biggest companies on the west coast of the US, and I help them get the most out of Temporal. Some of the companies I help, Stripe, Netflix, Airbnb, NVIDIA, so some pretty tech-forward folks, some pretty tech-hungry people, and these people and a lot of other companies, when you talk to them, are saying, hey, Temporal, how do we think about temporal and AI? You know, what are you doing with AI? How do we think about it? And that kind of thing. Everyone's trying to catch up at the same time, including me. And that spurred a little bit of education on my side and experience. I really, don't have that background, so I wanted to get learning. And so I decided to build an AI agent demo using Temporal's Python SDK. And an agent is AI that knows about tools that it can run and knows when to run them or can decide when they should be run. So in other words, knows what tools are in the toolbox and then when to use them in line with the user's goal, okay? And since I'm in London and since I happen to be like a pretty big Premier League football fan, I thought what could be better than getting me some fixtures for upcoming matches to attend, and then some trains to get to those matches, all right? So that's what the AI agent's gonna do, and without further ado, maybe we can switch to my screen over here and let's get demoing. All right. So on the left here is my chat app, and on the right is the Temporal UI, which you should be familiar with. I'm gonna click into my workflow here. All right. And it wants to know something already. Hi, I can help you plan a trip to watch a Premier League match in the UK, et cetera, et cetera. To get started, can you tell me which Premier League team you'd like to watch and roughly when you would like to attend the match? Don't ask why, but I happen to be a really big Wolverhampton Wanderers fan. Go Wolves. Never been there, still, but massive fan for years. Maybe I'll go there this time. And so let's go Wolves. And I'm gonna say, mid-April to first week of May, because I plan on being back. Maybe I can do proper English. It's a bit cold up here. All right, there we go. So that chat message goes through, and what comes back, I'll search for Wolves fixtures between April 15th and May 7th, and it proposes that it wants to run a tool, okay? And some cool things about this already is I've given it natural language. I said Wolves, it determined that was Wolverhampton Wanderers FC. I gave it mid-April, it determined that was the 15th of April. I gave it May, it said May the 7th is the first week. That's great, this is all wonderful. Excuse the debuggy type view, the JSON and stuff. Obviously, we wouldn't ship this to customers. I just wanted to show you sort of what's under the hood, so to speak. So what it's done is it says, I have a tool to run called search fixtures. And what it's going to do is, it's got these arguments, and let's run this tool. Before I do that, I'll show you what the workflow side of things looks like, just so you get a good idea. Firstly, the workflow is generic. I didn't code this workflow specifically to do Premier League things and train things. I'm actually providing that input to the workflow. So I've got a description of what I want to do, and I've got a list of tools. It's kind of like a DSL type, domain-specific language type thing I came up with that says, these are the tools you can run, this is my general goal, you figure it out, okay? So that's really cool. I could give it any goal, but today we're doing trains and matches. The first thing that happened was my prompt with Wolves and the date is a signal, that's the pink circle, and then it runs a couple of activities. The first activity is my validation agent, and the second activity is my tool planner. Both of these use my favorite, my AI of choice at the moment, which is Anthropic's Claude I'm still using 3.5. 3.7 came out last week, and I was a bit too nervous about it to try it for this. But, you know, AI. But what I do is I send a bunch of context across. And this is where Temporal is really helpful, right? Because I'm not just sending the latest prompt I said, which was wolves and these dates. I'm sending the tools that I have and the goal that I have and the chat history to date. And I'm putting that into a big pot and stirring it called context, it turns out, in AI. And I'm sending that through to Claude and I'm saying, hey, Claude, figure out what to do next. And Claude is going to propose a tool to run, or it's going to propose that it needs more information to run a tool. It's going to ask me a question. Or it's going to tell me, perhaps, that my prompt is entirely irrelevant. And that's what the validation prompt is for, which brings us to a little bit of crowd participation. So I need to give it, to show what the validation prompt does and why it exists, I want to put a wildly irrelevant prompt into my chat. So in other words, it can't have anything to do with soccer, football. I'm Australian, we say soccer, sorry. It can't have anything to do about football. It can't have anything to do about trains. What is the meaning of life? Or I want an ice cream is great. But does anyone have like an interesting prompt I can just feed this chat right now? Something relevant. Does someone want to put their hand up and suggest something? If not, I might go to my friendly crowd over here. Oh, hey, what do we want to do? Either one.
Let's ask if Temporal can run a workflow across cloud provider boundaries.
Oh, I like that. Capabilities question. It's very meta too. Can Temporal workflows run across cloud? This is like something I Google for my real job. Can Temporal run across cloud boundaries? It's just like being at work. All right. So that comes through. All right. And the answer is this. I notice you've asked about temporal workflows and cloud boundaries, but we're currently in the middle of planning a trip to watch a Wolves match. You know, come on, let's get with the program. I was about to show you the available fixtures, blah, blah. Would you like to get on with it? And the answer is, well, you could do this forever, but the answer is, let's get on with it. So that's fine. Matches, please. All right, and because it remembers the chat history and the context, all that kind of stuff, it's just going to come back, hopefully, with that tool proposal. Oh, all right. So something that happened yesterday, I'll let it retry, because it might survive that. But one thing that happened yesterday is my AI of choice, which I won't name now because it's retrying. It gets overloaded. The East Coasters woke up in the US. This was like early in the afternoon yesterday. And it sort of reached out, and then some APIs started failing on the AI side. And so I switched AI providers and kind of got myself out of jail. So I might actually have to do this live, which is fine. It's a great temporal use case. All right. Let me get rid of this and change my provider. And of course it's environment variables because it's a demo. All right, here we go. The unthinkable has happened. All right, so here we go. We got an answer from Validate. Looks like OpenAI is behaving this morning. That's a trick. Come on, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Because that was, by the way, that was unintended failure. That wasn't supposed to happen. And so that is pretty cool. We were able to take the state from the workflow and actually retain all of that conversation history and just be like, not Anthropic right now. Let's try OpenAI. So we're doing GPT 4.0 now. Okay. Whew. Well, I have talked about nothing else but the potential that would happen for the last couple of days. And of course it happened while I was on stage. Moving on, so confirm. So the confirm is also a signal to the workflow, okay? And what it does is, of course, search fixtures is a real Premier League API, but because it's a real API, it returns real JSON, right? And so that JSON response needs to go back through the LLM for a human-readable response. So that's why the agent tool plan is called again. And that's why we have a human-readable answer now on the bottom left. All right. Here are the Wolves matches between April 15 and May 7th, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, we have a couple of Manchester matches. We've got Man United on the 19th, and we've got Man City on May the 3rd. I don't know which one to choose. Don't worry, this is the last, I think, crowd participatory aspect to this, but I literally can't decide between City and United. For those who don't follow football, I'm going to give you some context, and then I'm going to get you to boo for one and then the other, okay, and that's how we're going to decide. Because they're both terrible. So Manchester City has been really dominant in the last 10 years, most successful Premier League club by far, amazing club. And Manchester United are actually the most successful Premier League club ever, statistically. And for that reason, lots of people hate them, and for other reasons as well. So, boo, please. I'm going to count down from 3, and boo if you want me to see Manchester City, sort of successful in the last 10 years, a very tough team. 3, 2, 1, boo. Boo! Okay, all right. A little bit of boos. Do you want me to see Manchester United, the most historically successful club of all time? People love to hate them. 3, 2, 1, boo. That one was louder, so we're going to see United. Let's do that. Hooray, thank you for participating. United. Please. My hands are cold, so my prompts are getting really... all right, transactional. United, please. Let's find trains for Manchester. Okay. Can we find trains, please? I optimized this for Anthropic. Let's try. If not, we can go back. Aha. All right, ready to run search trains. So what it's figured out is I need to get to Manchester for the match. It knows when the match is. It's the 19th of April. And it's proposed that I come up in the morning and come back at the end of the day. And because I was going to change some dates and stuff and show you that, but since we had the Anthropic failure and that chewed up a minute or so, I'm just going to proceed on and let's find some trains. So confirm. And what that does is it goes straight back through with a signal. As you imagine, this workflow is kind of an event loop. I'll show you that in a sec. And search trains should contact a real API and get going. And as we've seen, it's not working right now. It's kind of gone red, and it's at attempt number 3. It's at attempt number 5 now. So we're feverishly retrying the trains API. So I better click into that and see what's going on. All right, that's a heck of a Python stack trace. Hey, so Rob, is Rob around? Hey, Rob. Hey. Could you come up here and check this out? Thank you. No, this is... I'm gonna do it live, Rob. Hey,
this is like you're doing pretty well, by the way, but yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so some context. Rob Holland, unlike me, he's a local, so he's been helping with the train stuff, okay? I don't know anything about national trains in this country. And unlike me, he has engineer in his title. I'm a solutions architect, he's a real engineer. And so could you come over here and,
sure.
I think the code's in search trains, so if I go...
Oh, okay, so this is the old version?
So you're saying this won't get anywhere?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is the old version, thank you very much, goodbye.
Yeah.
Is it the new version?
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks,
so
Rob.
if you look in the enterprise folder.
Okay, all right, enterprise. This is an AI app, Rob. This is an enterprise. Okay, CD enterprise?
Yeah.
Oh, there's an enterprise folder. Okay, what's in there?
This is the new version.
Okay, train search workers. This looks like a .NET project.
Yeah, yeah, enterprise.
It's enterprise. Thanks, Rob. Temporal's polyglot, so that should be fine. Okay, we've got Python workflows calling .NET, whatever. Okay, we should be cool.
Yep.
This only solves half of the problem, I realize, because while that probably calls an API really well, I don't know anything about the API. I probably don't have the keys.
API, yeah. I've got the API.
You've got the API?
Yeah, yeah, I've got it, yeah.
The API's over there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I found a laptop which is suitable for communicating with the UK rail network.
Okay, all right. All right, I'm skeptical, but let's go. Do you want me to project you out then? Let me do that.
Yeah, sure. That's
cool. Ooh, there it is. Okay, so what is this, Rob? Tell me about this.
So this is a ThinkPad from 2003.
Okay.
And it still boots with the original battery.
That's incredible. Very impressive, Rob. I thought AI was supposed to be futuristic.
What could go wrong?
There you go. What could go wrong? We live dangerously at Temporal.
Okay, so I'm just booting that up now.
Thank you, Rob. And so you said it was from 2003.
Yeah.
And how did you get this laptop?
This was just on eBay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, okay, so you're not a National Rail employee or anything.
No, no.
Fantastic.
Not anymore, anyway.
Windows XP. You've got your own very own legacy OS too.
Yeah.
This is great.
Oh, and it's also remote.
Okay. Ah, it's a remote API. Okay. Here I was thinking we were going to go Wi-Fi, but of course not. Thank you, Rob. All right.
No expense spared on temporal engineers.
Oh, it's gone blue. I remember this screen. My teenage years. Wow. All right. The rolling hills. All right. I'm just excited. So great, Rob. So while you get that API going, I might figure out how to call it. So you said it's in enterprise.
Yeah.
And so I should be able to ping this somehow, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What's the IP address?
The IP address is 192.168.2.2.
Okay. This is working. All right, thanks, Rob. Okay, and I better plug that into your program, right? Your .NET suite.
Yeah.
Okay. Localhost ain't gonna help me. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay. All right, and I'm not enterprise, Rob. So how do you run a .NET project?
It's .NET Run.
Of course. Okay. I literally forgot. Okay. Good. Oh. Okay. So if you check on this, the old workers are still running. So if you have a look at the history. Okay, we're at attempt, poor workflow. We're at attempt 57 at calling the old API, which is to do implement. That's going nowhere fast. I need to stop that worker, and it's a really good thing that I brought my worker, standard issue temporal worker killing button. So let's do that. All right, I'm gonna make your QuickTime small. Okay, cool, here we go. Better kill these workers. That was 3 hours of learning enough Swift to do that. So I'm going to hit it again just for value.
Hey.
All right. It really kills the workers, as you can see. I better reconnect the agent worker because that one runs the workflow. All right. So that should rescue this. All right. Okay, Rob. And with all that set up, running .NET Run should out to here, and it should unblock this thing that's been retrying for an age now, and we should be good. Okay, so hold your breath.
Yeah.
Oh, it went green straight away. It went green straight away. We love to see it. There's a lot that could go wrong in this. All right, and we have trains. Here are some train options. And Rob, I'm in a real hurry now. So firstly, that took, can you please stay here, 6 minutes, which is a long time. So I'm in a hurry. Could you please set a timer for like 60 seconds? Let's speed run the rest of this. Okay. And because we're doing it not with the AI I trained it for, it actually could not work. So let's find out. The cheapest, thanks. So I'm just going to speed run the rest of this interaction. Thanks. So it's going to choose the cheapest option up there and the cheapest option back if it's smart enough to do it. Let's find out.
Okay, 50 seconds.
Great. Let's book the cheapest train options outbound at 10 a.m. and at 8:30. Great. Book trains. Book those trains. So that also goes out to your legacy API over there.
See it here?
Yep. Your train tickets have been booked successfully with the reference. Okay. Would you like me to generate an invoice? You have to pay the agent for its work. Yes. Thanks. All right. This should be the final step.
Okay, 30 seconds.
All right. 30 seconds. Come on.
I have a drum.
All right, the agent is ready to run the tool create invoice, and I know about this one because I made this one. This is going to call create invoice, or it already did, and that calls the Stripe API. It uses the real Stripe API to thankfully generate a test invoice, not a real invoice. Otherwise, it'd be broke by now, and I've done this so many times. And with any luck, you get an invoice link, and it looks like that happened already. Your invoice is being generated successfully. You can view and pay your invoices at this link. Don't get excited yet. Let's have a look at the result. Did it do the right job? Yes, that's Stripe. It's in test mode. Let's view the payment details. Train journey from London to Manchester for Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Manchester United on April 19. Coming up and going back on the same day. Too bad I won't see much of Manchester. It looks like it's done, and that's the end of the workflow, and we kind of got there, so thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Before we switch to slides, I just want to show you something about the code. So if we go into agent goal, so this was just about 200 lines of Python, which is amazing. It's kind of an event loop. It sits there waiting for chat prompts, it sits there waiting for confirmations, and it returns results to the user. If I go while true, you should see that's an event loop. Awesome. But don't take my word for any of this. You can go to Code Exchange, our brand new Code Exchange, and if you go down here, you can see that it's an option, that's me. There's even a video, which is cool, so you can relive that. And you can go to the repo here and try for yourself. It's all documented, all that kind of stuff. So I encourage you to have a go if you haven't played with agentic AI yet, particularly in the frame of Temporal. And yeah, let's go to slides, because I'll sort of round it out. Cool, thank you. Okay, so let's say you're building an AI agent. It might support calling lots of tools like my one did, or you might have specialized sub-agents, which is the thing, like different roles. So maybe the AI decides what your app does and when. Like maybe the AI makes the decision of what tool to call and stuff, which is what mine did, and that makes the decision logic really, really complex, right? Temporal should be your go-to foundation for this. I tried a lot of agent frameworks over the holidays. I tried probably 5 of the top ones, and here's what I found about them. Many of them lacked flexibility. They tried to force you into a model of working. They're too rigid. Or they couldn't gracefully handle faults such as the process crash, like my red button, like they couldn't survive the red button test. Or they had poor visibility. So for example, trying to troubleshoot what was going wrong is something that's a luxury in Temporal, but also while you're developing, you need to kind of prompt engineer, as the kids say, and like that's a thing, and you need to change your prompts and then see what the result is. And that Temporal makes that a luxury as well. Or they lack polyglot support. Okay, so a lot of them are just Python only, and obviously we can be enterprise if you want to. Temporal is like a rock solid foundation for AI. It's relied on, like Temporal itself is relied on by so many customers, so many users and companies in the world to orchestrate billions of processes daily. So we can do that at scale, but at the same time, Temporal is not a heavy tech, right? Again, that was 200 lines of Python. I built the foundations for that and then made a video about it in about 4 days of hacking. And I'm not a great Python programmer, and I didn't know much about AI at the time. So like, if I could do that, then anyone could. So it's easy to develop, but it's also reliable and scalable. So it's like the best of all worlds. So if I leave you with any message today, and this is like the second last slide, so don't worry. Well, message number 1 is what the heck was that demo probably. But second message is it's important to focus on the business value of your app. All right, and then not do the undifferentiated heavy lifting. And that's especially important for AI because your business becomes reliant on AI, and AI can be weird. Using the AI to decide, non-deterministic sort of results, hallucinations that you have to think about, overloaded AIs, which I was actually going to tell a story about when it happened yesterday, but it just happened on stage. So you know about the foundation model AI APIs getting overloaded frequently and not being available sometimes or taking too long. These are all very real problems in AI. So leave the undifferentiated heavy lifting to Temporal and get on with it. Your time is too precious. As Max and Preeti said before, this is the way Temporal helps unlock developer productivity for you because we shield you from all that messy stuff. Our code-based model is really good for AI sort of workflows that are dynamic. You saw I fed it like essentially a DSL, and then the workflow is generic. That's really cool, and it was quite easy with Temporal. We help you modernize. One day that will become like a Nexus endpoint running on some fancy thing, but until right now, while it's legacy, you can just wrap that, basically, okay? And then you're golden. So thank you. Ultimately, yeah, use us for AI. I've become a believer that we're the best solution for it. Thanks for watching me use AI to find a football match, books and trains with a little bit of failure, Windows XP and Rob helping out. So thank you.